products. No one is expecting for you to, by the end of this day, to have a product or a service ready to go in production. So just make sure that you have a good idea, and then you have a minimum value product to show here today, okay? So basically, starting now here a bit more the topic for today. So my main goal here, as I told you, is just to explain you a bit how can you build your solution based on AWS, okay? So I'm Miguel Silva. I work as a solutions architect at AWS, focus on software vendor companies, okay? So I work a lot with companies that have a bit of the startup environment, but basically they are already kind of more bigger or more mature, so they already have their product in the market and well established, okay? So yeah, with that said, let's, by the way, just also to explain a bit more my background, I'm not a machine learning expert, so don't come to me asking like, what is the best model compression or the partitioning techniques that I can use to improve my large language model that was just released yesterday, okay? So don't come to me with that, but count on me for how can I quickly build here something using some services that are ready to go and ready to be used and start experimenting, okay? So how can I use the infrastructure of AWS and the service that they provide to build something, okay? So with that said, I would say that after a few hours that you have been here and that you are started to look into your topic, I consider that at least you already have a few ideas about what you are building, and I would say that most of the solutions that you are planning will include something regarding generative AI, large language models, foundation models. That's just my guess because it's really trendy. I've been kind of talking with a few of you, and that's the kind of sense. And if you see these kind of generative AI solutions and topics, they are really they can really fit in these different type of use cases, okay? So basically they can be grouped in focusing on the customers. So you are building a solution focusing on the customers, focusing on the developers and the employees of an organization, or focusing on the backend processes, okay? So these, I would say, that are the three main pillars that this generative AI topic have been kind of getting focused, okay? And I would say that for this hackathon specifically, you might be more focused on the two on the right side. So how can we boost the employee productivity and creativity in the development life cycle? And how can I optimize some business process? How can I end up less time doing things that I don't want and I can kind of automate in such a way, okay? So if we look more into detail, here is where I hope that you start, or I think that you might start fitting your ideas in some of these use cases, okay? For example, you might already be thinking about doing something regarding summarization, for optimizing the productivity of the development people, content creation, some code generation, some conversational search, okay? So these are some kind of typical use cases. Or when we think about optimized business process, something regarding document processing, data augmentation, etc. So this probably it's something that you are being aligned. Of course, visual assistants and chatbots, the most well-known use case for these new technologies, okay? And for us, the first service that I would like for you to know that is ready for you to use and is currently already generally available is Amazon Bedrock. Okay, so Amazon Bedrock is just basically the easiest way for you to get in contact with a large language model or a foundation model. Basically, it's a full managed service, and it gives you the opportunity to access through an API, an inference endpoint for different models from different providers, coming from AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Stability AI, or even our own Amazon models that we will see in a few minutes. And basically, this is just the entry point. Of course, then you can bring on top of that and experiment and build some more customization on top, of course. And then if I give you a bit more overview about what I'm talking, this is just a few of the foundation models that are currently available. This again is something that is keep going on, okay? So our main goal and what we believe is that this topic of generative AI and foundation models is something that the knowledge is keep growing and it's keep every time we see a new model coming to the market with different characteristics. So we see this as also an API ready to use that will start bringing more partnerships and more models available for you to use, okay? So if you see here, you might know some of those. They are really known by and used by the community. Llama 2 is being integrated, so it's not still yet, but as soon as we might start seeing these available. And you also have our own models, Amazon Titan, okay? So this is, I would say, the first entry point, an API ready to use models, inference endpoint ready to use. Of course, that if you want to go a bit further, sometimes you want to do some more customization, or you want to explore some open source models that are available on the community. And for that purpose, we also help you to speed up the integration of those models in your solution. And with that, we use the SageMaker Jumpstart. SageMaker Jumpstart is part of the SageMaker Hub. Did you already use SageMaker before? Between those of you that, okay, not that much, okay, so good feedback. So basically the SageMaker, we can see it as the machine learning hub platform for everything that you do around machine learning on AWS, okay? It helps you to create your training pipelines, your inference pipelines, your deployment pipelines, help you to do monitoring about the evolution of your models, etc. Keep track about model versioning, keep track about data sets, everything registered. So a bit regarding what we have been seeing about MLOps and this kind of tool. This is one of the functionalities. But besides that, what we are here more focused for you today is the SageMaker Jumpstart functionality inside. That again is similar to what we've seen with Bedrock, with the difference that here you'll use open source models available, and what we kind of help you here is to just speed up the deployment process. So we create already some, for example, some Jupyter notebooks that allow you to easily create an inference endpoint on top of a model that, for example, is published on Hugging Face or any other kind of these platforms, okay? There is even an integration with these kind of platforms that are being used. And basically, this will allow you to work with pre-built trainings or and also give you some scripts that will speed up this process. Okay, this has an UI again for speed up purposes, but it also has an API on backs that you can integrate and build your solution. Okay, it also brings with a lot of notebooks with examples, so you can also explore that. By the way, in the Q environment that I send you, and the link that is on the Slack channel, you'll be given you access to a workshop environment, a lab environment that already has a lot of labs over there. And these labs will, most of them, they will use SageMaker Jumpstart notebooks to follow up and to deploy your a kind of a guide for you to see for different use cases. Okay, so for foundation, for SageMaker Jumpstart, again, we have several providers, several companies that are building these models open source. They probably you are not even being able to read all of them, me neither, and probably this is even outdated because this is community driven. Okay, so for example, even Hugging Face is one of the main contributors to this. Is keep creating more models and making them available here. Okay, so just explore it if it makes sense for you. The another thing is that, of course, I think that the most important part here is that your data will be the differentiator, right? Okay, there are all of these models, these large language models ready to use with general data that have been trained, a huge amount of data. They are ready to go and they already bring you a lot of value just out of the box. But if you want to differentiate your solution from just a single shot bot that is ready to use, there's where you need to bring your data. Okay, there's where you need to do something on top of these ready-to-use models. Okay, sorry, that's a lot of slides. Quickly, this is Mac, and now I'm the one struggling, and this is my Mac, even worse. What's going on? It just wants me to present that slide, not the others. Okay, okay. I need to blame someone who okay. happened the same again. Okay, sorry. Let's do it like this. And then like this. Good enough? Good enough. Okay, so basically, as I was telling you, where you can bring value and where your solution will differentiate from what everybody can do and what is already on the market and available to use is your data. Okay, and based on that, we can kind of think about different data patterns of using these large language model, these foundation models. And basically, the basic level is the use it as is. Okay, so it's just picking these huge models that were trained with the general purpose data sets and start using them. Okay, and this example is the ones that we provide through Bedrock API. But I think that the most interesting part is where you go to the next level, and for example, you start to do some in-context learning. And I would say that for this hackathon, you probably are all here, I would say. Or in this use it as is, okay, and you can already build something just because you kind of democratize the access to the application, to the model, and you make a really cool AI, or you are going a bit further, you are kind of start doing a bit in context learning techniques, okay? We'll talk here about more what it means, but it's basically just guides, it's just different techniques to guide these pre-trained models with some of your data, some of your private data from your domain, okay? So we'll talk a bit about the techniques that we can see here. And then we go to the next level, of course. I want to go even further. I want to really do some fine-tuning to my model with specific training data sets that I already have on my environment. And I start to build something like as a code assistant or something like that that requires already huge data sets from code that I have inside my organization, for example, as a use case. And of course, in the end of the day, training your own model. I will be honest, even for big companies exploring this is like already a really specific need that you need to really grow to arrive there. Also because you need a lot of data to train models. And if you are going to use these large data sets that are available in the market, maybe they are already being used also and they are already being pre-trained in models available open source. So this is already for specific use cases, okay? So just going a bit deeper, what happened here is, as I told you, there is a kind of a matrix between complexity, costs, data scale, and the relation between context learning and more context to the environment, correlated with how we grow in this path. Okay, so as I told you, you might be all in this first layer, so you might all be exploring techniques of prompt engineering. That would be your first way to go. If you want to go a bit further, exploring also some retrieval augmented generation techniques. I will explain a bit what I mean by that, or even some reason and act or similar techniques, okay? And I will go a bit further, so we'll see more into detail, okay? So if we think about a typical, this is now too small. Let me try one more time. I think that this was the slide that you wanted me to present. Now you want me to go to the demo directly. All right, so let me put here, zoom in. I think it's kind of good enough. Okay, so this is just more a diagram. Okay, so basically the main goal here is to show you when we are applying a technique of prompt engineering. Basically what it means is that the user is interacting with your generative AI application. It's just explaining a simple way. You will basically kind of augment this question or this prompt that the customer is putting in your application by doing some engineering prompts. So it means you'll just search over your databases or your kind of other data sources to get some knowledge based on the domain that the customer is looking, or on some kind of context personalization. So let me give you an example. Imagine that you have a generative AI application and you just search which tasks do I have for next week. This kind of things will help me to organize my calendar, for example. And if we implement some kind of these virtual assistants for calendar analysis, you could bring a prompt engineering solution where you basically, based on the user that is interacting with the assistants, first of all, you can start by looking into who is that person, who is the context, who is the next week, etc. So you'll search for some more context, which is tasks, definitions for them, etc. And basically, you'll collect this additional information and you will inject that in the large language model. Okay, so you will kind of giving more context to the question or to the interaction that the user is having with your AI solution. Okay. Besides that, it's really common here to also save some conversation state and history about the interactions, because again, usually for most of the companies and most of the solutions, what happens is that they start with prompt engineering because they don't have data to go further, and then they start to collecting this conversational state and history from the customers, and they start to build data sets so they can go a bit further to the next level. Okay, and besides that, of course, it's interesting for you if you are interacting with a virtual assistant, for example, the second time that you do it, that he has access to the previous information. Okay, so just after having context about the user and the domain that the user is doing, and after having also some historic information, then you can go to the model, prompt all of the data, and get the output. Okay, so this is the prompt engineering techniques in a simple way. Okay, regarding services, I tried to do this as much generic as possible, but you have here several examples of AWS database service that you can use for saving for knowledge based and for helping with the domain prompting, and also for conversational state history as the Amazon DynamoDB, MemoryDB, etc. Of course, and then of course you input it in Amazon SageMaker inference endpoint or on Bedrock models. Okay, so with that said, I would say that I would like just to present here another technique that is retrieval augmented generation. So this would be also really interesting for you to see. It's basically it's a mechanism of, okay, you can also keep using the conversational state the same way, bringing some more information about the historic of the interaction of the user with my application, but here you can go a bit further and you can kind of create some embeddings on your you create some vector of embedding that represents your prompt to your application, and then you do some you use some databases to kind of look for the similar vectors that are closer. Usually use here different techniques of KNN, near neighbors, etc., to find which are the vectors that are really similar to the ones that my prompt is sending to my application. And I use again this information based on, after doing this similarity search, to then send my engineering prompt to my model to get the answer. Okay, so this is a bit more advanced because it's more efficient, and the way that you can kind of do this vector comparison, vector research, it's much more interesting. Okay, here it involves two things. Okay, because here you usually require to have some kind of vector database for you to use. Okay, and this requires some batch process to create this data on this database, and doing some embeddings and creating those token embeddings in your database, for then further when you are doing an interactive application, doing this search in an optimized way. Okay, so this is just really briefly a description. Now let me explain you how can you more specifically use this during the day. Okay. All right. So I don't know if all of you already start exploring the environment, or if some of you already did it. But basically, if you open the link that I put it on the Slack, you'll be prompted to this workshop studio environment. Okay. You have a question? Go ahead. Okay, let's see in a few minutes, okay? I think that take a look and see the most updated link, because I did a modification yesterday. You are using the one that is on the Slack right now? Yeah, that might be the case, because the one that was on the QR code, then I did some changes that update the link, sorry. But yeah, use the current one that is on the Slack channel, okay? So my recommendation is for those of you that want to explore and use AWS, go to the Slack channel, get the link from there, register in the event. It will send you a one-time email password for your email. You'll use this password, you log in here, okay? As soon as you log in here, on the left side, as I told you, you'll need to start from here. Here is exactly the experience that you'll have, okay? So you'll open the login, you do email one-time password, you receive a password and you log in here, and then go here to working environment setup, where you'll be able to basically open the SageMaker Studio. That will be the focus of this environment. It gives you here all the step-by-step. Open a terminal inside the SageMaker Studio and just clone the repository that has these kind of templates, notebook, Jupyter templates, okay? Then after that, you can just explore if some of these labs that will be in this repo might make sense for you to take a look, because are similar to what you want to do, so you can use it as a reference, okay? Okay, so take a look here. So you have several examples, text to text, image to text, text to image, okay? So all of these typical use cases that you talked before, we have here a few examples. Just take a look and explore them, okay? In order to access the AWS console, you just need to go from here, okay? So here on the corner, you'll see Open AWS console. You also can get your CLI credentials if you want to programmatically interact with AWS console and your resources, okay? So, but as I told you, you can use this environment to build whatever you want. Does not need to be these labs that are here, just your own application that you plan to build. You can use this environment. Really important note, this environment will not have Bedrock available for you to use, but if you want to explore it or if you plan to use it, this is just for SageMaker Jumpstart or any other solution. You can still use S3s, databases, EC2, if you want to go and train your own model. I don't believe that you'll do it, but try it, or fine-tuning. There is GPU EC2 instances over there for you to use if you want. It will be available for 72 hours. So after that, the environment will be shut down. So keep your stuff afterwards. Anyway, if you want to use Bedrock, as I told you, come to me, and I will give you another alternative to use Bedrock. Okay. So basically, we also have here some AWS vouchers that you can use to deploy in your own accounts. Okay. The problem here is that this is workshop environments that were pre-built, and we are still not allowing you to use Bedrock inside this internal tool, okay? But if you want to use, let me know. Another thing that I would like to challenge is if some of you are planning your solution and your architecture and you want to start building the infrastructure or the solution on AWS, let me know, call me. I will be here the full day, so I can kind of support you or doing a review with you, give you some guidelines and some help on doing it, okay? So yeah, so I don't know if as we have here a few minutes, I will try to show you the SageMaker Jumpstart, so you can start. I understand that you are not using it that much yet, so let me show you a bit what I'm talking about, okay? So SageMaker Jumpstart is, as I told you, is the way for you to come here. You can see several models, several resources available for you to use. Imagine that, okay, I want to go with, let's do another thing. I want to know which is the most trending model for example, chatbot, something like that, okay? I can come just to, I don't know if you know about Hugging Face, but they kind of do this benchmarking. Okay, this is just one alternative. You can do your own or whatever. But if you come here, for example, and look for the most been used. This is one that was released a few months ago. I think it's one, it has like, that is being quite used. It's a model from Mistral AI, okay? So for example, you can come here, you have already, for example, out of Hugging Face platform, you can just come here and you deploy it on Amazon SageMaker, for example, out of the box. So you have here the programmatic way of doing it through the SageMaker CDK or through Jumpstart if you want, okay? So you just need to copy this code and you are ready to go, or you can do it directly from here. So here, imagine I want to use a Llama 2 with 7 billion parameters. I can also come here and I have the option to simply deploy it, okay? So this is like just an easy way for you to go here, deploy, it will create the inference point that you can use to then go further, okay? This is just a way of simplifying all the process. Of course, if you want to do fine-tuning, retraining, etc., you can do it further. It will even help you to, with some notebooks, as I told you, to do that, okay? This is just quickly explaining you how can you explore more into detail this thing here. Besides, as I told you, beside models by themselves, you also have some more solutions end-to-end that goes a bit further, or some other text models. So there's several things here for you to explore, okay? If you need help, let me know. I can try to help you and guide you inside. Okay, 5 minutes. Let me just finish here with just a few more notes. Okay, so another really interesting thing here, you are not thinking about that today for sure. This is an hackathon for 2 days, 3 days. But the point nowadays of going in production and building these foundation models in production, of course, is performance versus cost, okay? So we have seen, okay, now there is Meta launching a new model with more parameters available, with much more computing power that will have much more performance with more huge data sets. However, the point is that as much bigger is the model, the computing power, even for inferencia, will be bigger, okay? And if you want to create a business use case, the cost will be a critical point. So I think that is really important for you to make a balance between having the Rolls Royce of the models, so the most best performance model in the world, versus the cost that you have per every time that you are doing an inference and interacting with that, okay? And for that purpose, AWS also tried to improve here a bit and give you some the more advanced tools. That is basically, I don't know if you are aware, but AWS also create their own hardware, their own chips for their data centers. We are talking about Geekathon'23. This is something that is coming from the past, because of course, as soon as AWS start building a lot of data centers around the world, it makes sense to improve the way that the computing and the hardware was built for this kind of scale. We are doing the same for AI, okay? And this is not something that came now with this boom of generative AI. We have been doing this for the past, but now, of course, is where people is getting used and starting using more and more these because they need to find the best business model on top of these models. And for that purpose, we have here AWS Trainium and AWS Inferentia. Right now, it's already on the 2nd generation. Basically, these are just chips that AWS developed by themselves that allow you to do some trainings, train your models. So is a chip that was built dedicated for training your models, and you also have Inferentia for create your inference endpoints, okay? By the way, if you use SageMaker and these labs that I was telling you, some of them, they are using this for Inferentia, okay? There is even some benchmarks that you might explore. I have here just a few. So you can see here that, for example, AWS Train, you can save up to 50% savings in your training costs comparing with using an Amazon EC2 instance for that purpose, so a virtual machine, a normal virtual machine. And the Inferentia 2 also can have a better price performance of up to 40% compared with the EC2 instance. Okay. For example, there are a lot of blog posts around this that we have been sharing, and also other partners have been doing. For example, here they did a few benchmarking of how the BERT-like transformers were performing compared with using a normal CPU instance versus those inference machines. Okay, there are other benchmarking comparing even GPU instances, so graphical computing compared with inference that is no GPU. Okay, so just take a look and explore, because of course this is not for today, but maybe it might be interesting for the future. Okay, so besides that, another slide just to kind of overwhelming you is just to show you. Let me see if I have another opportunity with PowerPoint. Okay, good. This is just, we talk here a bit about, so there are a huge amount of stack of service that you can explore on AWS. I will not go further, just to give you an idea. Okay, we just talk here about a few that are really related with more foundation models and generative AI. Okay, we talk a lot the Bedrock and Amazon Titan, that is the proprietary model of Amazon. We talk about Jumpstart. We didn't talk, but it could be interesting for you to explore some AI service that we have ready to use for code and DevOps, as this is related with the topic and the subject of the event, so you can also get a bit inspired. Okay, we have, for example, Amazon Code Whisper, that is a code assistance. We also provided it as a service for you to use, integrate with your IDE or your code editor, and or Amazon Code Guru and DevOps Guru, that is kind of we see it as an assistance guru that is looking for our DevOps environment and for our code, and is providing you some security guide or some kind of improvement guides over what we are doing. So this is some tools also that help the development lifecycle to be explored. Okay, so besides that, again, my main message here is also try to simplify things. Okay, because I think it's not just my opinion. This is not my sentence. I've been kind of hearing AI gurus talking and saying this is that the best AI model is no AI. Okay, so try to simplify. Don't think about, okay, I need to use AI, so I will use the best model, etc. There are problems and challenges that you don't need AI for that. So the best AI model is no AI. However, of course, these new technologies are bringing much more opportunities. So try to simplify. For example, if I want to just transcribe something, some text-to-speech, speech-to-text, something really easy. This is something that they've been research being done over the past. So I don't need to use these new foundational models. I can use just a deep learning model, more simplified for that purpose, that is being already tested and used in the market for a while. And for example, we even provide these kind of services, these core services for text, speech, and vision that do these most well-known use cases. So Amazon Poly for text-to-speech, Amazon Transcribe speech to text, translate, comprehend, text extract to collect some text data from images or from documents, from PDFs, Amazon Recognition to recognize objects or something like on images. So there are these AI services ready to use, APIs really easily that can be really easily used. Okay. Besides that, a bunch of more AI services and platform divided by these three categories: AI services ready to use, managed services, APIs just consume it, Amazon SageMaker to give you all these expertise and hub for working on machine learning, and of course we have our backbone, our own infrastructure and machine learning frameworks that will help you. Okay. Just to finish. And leave here a few key takeaways. I have been kind of passing this message, but my kind of suggestion for the rest of the day and for the hackathon and for future is that while you are building a solution, thinking about doing some indie hacking or something like that, some bootstrapping or whatever, first focus on your use case and your business need. Okay, how you will handle the real issue in the business to business market or in the business to customer market, or think about then just secondly think about how you solve it technically. Okay, and if needed, which will be an AI solution that I can take advantage of. Then think about the differentiator again, as I told you, the data. Okay, after thinking about the architecture solution, think about how can you find the data that you need, how can you get the data that you need to make the difference, because again, this will be the differentiator of your solution. And just lastly, think about the current best model. What I say here, current because you need to be really agile in the way that the best model today will not be the best model tomorrow. So don't spend a lot of time with kind of doing training and repeating on the same models, like optimizing everything. And the best, why best? Because best means best in cost performance view, okay? Of course, this is not just about the best model, best performance in the world, it's about the best relation between cost and performance. And as I told you, AI models are expandable, so don't fall in love with them, fall in love with your data, okay? So create a really, this of course is not for today, because today you are really in a hurry, but if you want to go further with some ideas that you explore today, focus a lot on the data that you have and create a robust infrastructure, a robust data platform, so you are ready to go if for any reason there is a new model coming, a new technology coming, and then you can easily and in an agile way explore it, okay? So thanks a lot. Let me know if there's any question, if we have a few time. Fabio, do you have a few minutes just for questions? Okay, questions. I think that afterwards, as I told you, I will be here around, so call me if you want to dive deep in your solution or what you are building and if I can help you. But for now, if you have any more generic question about what I presented or about AWS in general, anything.
So first of all, good morning, everyone. And I have a question about the DevOps that you presented before. I'm questioning myself if that it's possible to integrate in any IVA or in just a specific one.
So we are talking about this kind of services?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is basically, these are already services that we built to solve the kind of the same challenge that XGeeks is giving you here for the day. So what I think that for your project specifically, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to use it because this is already the final solution. Imagine that AWS was an hackathon, doing an hackathon. We found that this was a need. We built this. We provide it as a service for developers. Okay, but it's a good way for you to get some inspiration. Okay, so you see what this is doing. So explore these names. So Amazon DevOps Guru, Amazon Code Guru. So you can have an idea about what this is doing and which kind of issues this is solving. So you might identify yourself with these kind of issues.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for Miguel? No? It's okay. Thank you, Miguel.
Thanks a lot.
Guys, we will have lunch in 15 minutes, I think. So, yeah.